EntitledMother demands that we don't take photos of her son on event, then complains when there are no photos of son to remember the event. I am a volunteer youth worker. I specialize of canoeing, bushcraft and expeditions. Every few years we travel from the UK to France where we do river expeditions, caving, climbing, etc. As part of the planning process, we have to gather information on the young people, mostly medical and legal stuff, and we have a comment in the forms about opting out of photos and video. This is mostly for young people who have court-issued protection order due having an abusive parent or a protected adoption or similar. EntitledMother EM latched onto this and used it to exert power. She stated that darling son, yes, was not to appear on any image or video or there would be trouble. So we complied with her request, subtly so as not to make DS feel awkward. After the week away, we compiled video of the canoe descent of the river, trip to the med caving. We have night vision cameras, climbing, river swimming, all of it, and we gathered all the photos taken by us and the participants. There were thousands. When we started this years ago, we handed out disposable cameras, and maybe had 200 photos. Now we wade through thousands of near-identical images. We compiled slideshows and created souvenir DVDs and memory sticks with the best images documenting the whole thing. Everyone get a DVD and memory stick. Great memories. I am called shortly after hers arrived complaining that DS didn't seem to appear in any of the videos or photos, and he was quite upset. We pointed out that she had specifically told us that we were not to take any photos or video. She was furious that we had ruined his trip because he will have nothing to remember it by, ranting and raving about us ruining his entire trip, and we should refund payment for it. We never saw EM or DS again, said because DS really needed to get away from EM before she ruined him for life.
NVIDIA steals our taps and nearly injures my brother, and then we owe him. Okay, so this was on phone, sorry for the formatting.
EGD, entitled Granddad. This was a long time ago, so some minor details may be wrong. I know it's not as crazy as others, but I hope it belongs here.
EGD has come over to babysit my brother, 3, over a few days as my parents wanted some time alone together.
Day 1. My EGD decided that he doesn't like our taps and dismantles them, removes because they look ugly. But in actuality, he needed the parts for his own taps at home. So he robbed us of our taps and insists that he did us a favor. Day 2, my brother, who was 3, wanders into the garage, and my EGD decided to close the garage door with him underneath them. So he dodged the falling doors, which could have caused some damage, and gets locked inside the garage for ages. He said it was an accident and should stop being so fussed about it. Day 3. He replaces the taps with his older, uglier ones, which we didn't want and didn't go with our house. He thought he was doing a favor for us by added ones he was aware we didn't like. He still to this day wonders why he can't babysit again.
You're not allowed to be in pain because you're scaring your grandma. So I was working for about 7 hours yesterday. I'm 16, and I had a really tough day. I work at a grocery store, and I was the only CC in my position for about 3 hours on a Saturday afternoon. For perspective, we need at least 3 CCs to keep up with all the work that needs to be done on Saturday afternoons. And I was the only one, so the work of 3 people fell to me. That's all the bagging, all the getting carts, the cleaning, everything. It was all on me, and it's the day before Valentine's, so we were even busier than usual. It never got above 5 degrees Fahrenheit, and the wine chill kept us negative all day. All in all, I ended up spending over 2 hours outside, pushing carts like there was no tomorrow. The time I spent inside was mostly bagging for 2 or 3 people at once. So as you can imagine, I was exhausted when I got home. I laid down in front of the fireplace and didn't move for about 10 minutes. My mom gets down beside me and tries to get me to stand up. She tells me that I'm scaring my grandma, who was staying the night at our place. My dad walks over, pissed as all hell, and practically screams at me to get up. I tell him truthfully that I physically can't move. He doesn't care. So I pull myself up, trying desperately not to pass out, and try to go upstairs to take a shower. Only after all of this do they bother to ask me what's wrong. I tell them I feel like I broke my back. My mom tells me that if this is what I'm going to act like when I get home from work, that I need to quit. I tell her that this is pretty unusual, even for a Saturday before a holiday. For those of you wondering, there were multiple CCs scheduled for the afternoon, But the one that would have been working with me when I was alone got snowed in at a ski resort with no cell service, so she couldn't make it in. She couldn't even call anyone, so she got marked as a no-call, no-show. That pissed me off, because she texted me via Wi-Fi, and I passed all that information on to the manager. So now I'm sore as hell, and I'm pissed at that manager. Lucky me. Edit. For those of you saying that I'm working too hard, you're right. But I'm doing the work because they need me to. It's called a work ethic. I'm not doing it because I'm getting paid through the roof. I'm doing it because I care. Working hard enough to be in this much pain shouldn't be cause for insult. Edit 2, guys. A ton of people are thinking that I'm complaining about the work. I get that it was too much for me to handle, and I get that the manager was being a dick for not giving me at least a little help. But I'm not complaining about it. It's work. Sometimes there's tough days, and sometimes there's easy ones. Also, this absolutely blew up, so there's no way I can respond to everybody, but thank you all for the support. I really appreciate it. And by the way, my back is fine. It just needed a few days of nothing to recover.
Hey D, $1,500 to help out with a major debt of mine or holding onto a baby album out of sheer spite. I'll go with the spite. Paint my face and call me a goddamn clown. I should have known. I really should have known. Backstory. He meets the whole checklist when it comes to malignant narcissism. He can do no wrong, no matter what. Everyone else is always wrong, whatever. Has to have the newest, the best. Nothing else is acceptable. To that end, he bought a brand-new 7-seater car 5 years ago. Treated that car better than me, honestly. I was the unfavorite of the family. Even though I tried my best to be useful, nothing was ever good enough. My younger half-siblings, the household help, and my stepmother were allowed to treat me however they wanted. I had moved to his country to get to know that side of my heritage. But when it got to bad, I noped out and went straight back to my mum's country. And backstory. Life has done him a bad turn. Good, especially after I left there 3 years ago. He hasn't worked consistently. Bills are piling up, and he even had a stroke, which I had to find out via telephone relay basically. As a result, he is in arrears of $6,000 USD and is struggling to pay it since he cannot work. He also owes property taxes. My sister's school fees are in arrears. He can't afford medication or rehab. Now, despite all of this, I spoke with my aunt, and she told me that, despite him being a dick, she felt a little sorry for him. I don't like him either, but I said I would give $1,500. Give, not loan, provided that he gave me the baby album I mistakenly left behind. Free money basically to someone I am estranged from, just for a small thing. He keeps asking her if I sent the money yet. I hadn't. Then he starts saying to her that he will send me the digitized pictures because the album is not her property. He went on about how I was blackmailing him and he's not going to stand for it, that I hate him because I won't just send the money. I don't listen. I wasn't mistreated. I just made it look that way, but who am I to be believed anyway? Imagine being able to get out of debt a bit by just sending a worthless, money-wise album. Anyone smart would take the quiet shame of the help, as opposed to the very public shame of having your car towed when everyone in your uppity neighborhood is there to see, of having your name published in the debtor's page of the newspaper. But I guess spite is keeping him alive, not the medication he can't afford to buy. He says that he's not going to stand for me blackmailing him. Fine. He can stand for the fucking bus then when the repo people come for that stupid car. I'm done.
Check out my other superb videos